All right, today we're going to start learning about how to solve equations. So this is you figuring out what is the value of the variable. All right, these equations that we're going to look at are going to have addition and subtraction. Um, there are some rules. First of all, your goal is to get the variable by itself on one side of the equation. All right, so if it's on the left-hand side, then you need to get rid of everything else from the left-hand side so that it's just the variable. All right, and then you need to remember what you do on one side of the equal sign, you have to do on the other side of the equal sign. So we have to keep it balanced. You should think of an equation as a scale. They're equal, they're the same thing, so they weigh the same. So we don't want our scale to tip to one side. It needs to stay balanced. So we're going to start with an example. X plus 3 equals 8. Now many of you might already know the answer, but we're going to walk through this step by step. And I'm going to start by doing a model. All right? You remember that we can draw positives and we can draw negative chips, okay? So on my left-hand side of the equation, I know that I have x, some value, so I'm going to leave that as x. And then I have 3 positives. 1, 2, 3. All right? On the right-hand side of the equation, I have 8 positives. So I am going to put those here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get rid of the 3 positives on the left-hand side so that x is all by itself. Now I can't just take them off the board. That's changing what this equation means. But what I can do is maybe I can zero them out.
Cameron.
Sorry. I can zero them out. So I'm going to zero them out by adding 3 negatives. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 negatives. And what that does here is it says, okay, each one of these guys pairs up with the positives and they make a 0. And then they all go away. Okay, so they're gone. But I added 3 negatives over here, so that means I need to add 3 negatives on the right-hand side. 1, 2, 3. And the same thing's going to happen. Okay, these 3 negatives are going to pair up with these guys, and they are going to go away. They make 0. So this means that x is going to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X equals 5. So let's see, what did we do in terms of my equation up here? We added 3 negatives. Okay, so I want you to picture a plus sign here. And we are adding to this equation, and we added 3 negatives. So add -3, add -3. Well, positive 3 and -3 makes 0. Right here I have x plus 0, and 8 plus a -3 gives me 5. So we know that x equals 5. Okay. Now you might notice this is the same thing as subtracting 3, okay? So what we call this is the subtraction property of equality. You can subtract the same number from both sides of an equation and the 2 sides will remain equal. You're going to use this property when the equation contains addition. So in my example right here, I have x plus 12 equals 20. I see my equation contains addition, so I'm thinking, all right, I need to be adding a negative, or I need to be subtracting whatever is with x. So since x is over here with 12, I'm going to subtract 12. Remember that this is a big addition problem. I'm going to subtract 12 here. These two 12s cancel out to make 0. So I have x equals 20 minus 12 is 8. So x equals 8. And you can check your answer, which I always suggest doing, by putting x, or 8, in the spot of x. So I have 8 plus 12 equals 20, 20 equals 20. My equation remains balanced, so I know that's the answer. All right, so let's do a problem now with subtraction in it. X minus 4 equals 9. So I know that I have x on this side, and I have 4 negatives. We're going to picture this as 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the right-hand side, I have 9 positives. Okay, so if I want my x to be by itself, I need to zero out. I need to get rid of everything that's with the x. So I'm going to make those negatives into zeros by pairing them up with 4 positives. And we know that what's going to happen here, these positives are going to pair up with the negatives, and they're going to make 0. They're going to go away. Okay, so get them out of the way. They're out of the way. Those are zeros. Now, since I added 4 positives on the left-hand side, I need to add 4 positives on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, let's pair them up and make 0. But 2 positives don't make 0. All I have on this side is a whole lot of positives. So what I do is I add them all up, and this is my answer. X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. X equals 13. All right. So let's see, what did we do? We added 4 positives to both sides. We added 4. So I'm thinking, here's my plus sign. I'm going to add 4 here. I'm going to add positive 4 here. This negative 4 and this positive 4 makes 0. And this 9 plus 4 makes 13. So x equals 13. Okay. So this goes with the addition property of equality. This means that we can add the same number to both sides of an equation, and the two sides will remain equal. You're going to use this when your equation contains subtraction or negatives. So whenever you see x with a negative number, it looks like subtraction or even adding a negative, you are going to use this property. Okay, so what I want to do here, I see that I have x minus 9, or x with a negative 9. So I'm going to get rid of that 9, and I'm going to add positive 9 with it, and positive 9 on this side. Okay? And here's one more thing you can do. I haven't been doing this. You draw a line through our equal sign to make sure that we're doing the same thing on both sides of the equation. So these negative 9 and positive 9 make 0. So I have x on this side. 4 plus 9 makes 13. So x equals 13. All right, we can check our answer. Let's put 13 in the spot of x. 13 minus 9 equals 4. This is our check. 13 minus 9 is 4. 4 equals 4. Checks out. Okay, so you are going to glue your notes in, fill in the blanks, and copy the examples.